Over the last few days, I've got quite a few requests asking what I thought about *Malignant*. It seems to be a film that really has people torn, and I wasn't sure why. Then I saw it, and I know what people mean when they feel confused and torn and all over the place about James Wan's latest. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. *Malignant* is new in theaters and streaming on HBO MAX. It's from Warner Brothers. *Malignant* is directed by James Wan and written by James Wan, Ingrid Bisu, and Akela Cooper. Madison, played by Annabelle Wallace, has lived a rough life. She's married to an abusive husband, pregnant, and remembers nothing before the age of 8 years old when she was adopted. Madison begins having visions after she's struck by her husband, loses the baby, and wakes up next to his dead body. Soon, Madison begins seeing visions of a dark figure named Gregory who emerges from the shadows and begins an intricate and gory killing spree. With a pair of bumbling detectives on the case, and Madison's sister, Sydney, we summon the darknesses, Maddie Hassan, attempting to care for her, the killer's spree gets closer and closer to Madison's home. But once the dark secrets from Madison's past come to light, nothing will ever be the same again. That's about as vague as I can get regarding *Malignant*, a film built on giant revelations, violent murders, and dark secrets. I guess if we're going to begin looking at this film, it's important to understand what kind of filmmaker James Wan is. Wan loves the spectacle of movie making. He loves the big reveals, highlighting them with over-the-top musical cues, extreme camera movements, and bizarre imagery. Subtle, Wan is not, and if you look at everything he's done from Dead Silence up until *Malignant*, you're not going to experience much subtlety at all. Look at the ridiculous police procedural antics by Marky Mark's brother in Dead Silence. How about the unconventional layering of story revelations in Saw? Or Lin Shaye's hammy turn in Insidious? Or the screeching guitar intros every time Aquaman makes a big entrance? Wan is all about showmanship, The Conjuring, for the most part, being Wan at his most sedate and measured. Right off the bat, *Malignant* turned me off more and more with each extremely obnoxious musical choice or soap opera melodramatic occurrence as each card of the deck is revealed. Wan has one shot that he uses over and over again where the cops enter a crime scene and we focus on their shocked faces before it's revealed what atrocities have been committed. Every time this occurs, I found myself saying, "Oh my God," over dramatically as every emotion is cranked to 11. When Madison finds out she lost her baby, not really a spoiler, this happens in the first few moments, she screams over and over and over. You would think Wan was going to cut away, but she doesn't, and Madison just screams again. It's comically bad, yet somehow I stuck with *Malignant*, and I'm glad I did. With music cackling obtusely like a drunk ant at a Christmas dinner, characters acting so clueless that it's a wonder they can get dressed in the morning, the endless discovery of new videotapes and flash drives containing key information necessary to get to the next chapter, and a plot that gets more bizarre and unkempt as it goes along, one would think I hated *Malignant*. But the longer I sat with *Malignant*, like a tumor itself, the movie grew on me. As each revelation is dropped, one more ludicrous than the next, I couldn't help but find myself having a blast. By the time the final revelation drops, I finally realized what kind of batshit crazy *Malignant* was, and it won me over. Now, I get it if you're not one of those people. The soap operatics of the first hour or so is definitely like sandpaper to the scrotum. The acting is really bad. I loved Maddie Hassan in We Summon the Darkness, but this isn't going to be the film that propels her to stardom. And don't get me started with the Wanda Sykes wannabe cop who is only there to be stubborn and give sassy replies when the evidence is right there in front of her face. The story doesn't help much with broad lines like, "It's time to cut the cancer out," and "I used to call him the devil." Blah. loud music blast, but all of that isn't much different than the crazy dramatics used in some of the most classic of Universal monster flicks of old. Look at the screaming woman in The Invisible Man. Look at Victor Frankenstein's orgasmic reaction to his monster's hand twitching. Look at Mrs. Voorhees' monologue, or Norman Bates' final reveal as Mother. All of them go, "This is Spinal Tap" with the cinematic volume, yet are still seen as classics. Wan seems to be the kind of filmmaker who loves that shit and throws it in his movies as much as he can, culminating to a Matrix-style fight scene with Gregory curb-stomping an entire police station in an over-the-top blood, spatter, and action fest. By the time the final reveal drops, viewers have witnessed a film that births slowly and meticulously, yet eventually blossoms into a beautiful symphony of comic booky and ultra-gory proportions. If you're looking for films that take themselves too seriously, I'll direct you to quite a few of them that are effectively dramatic in tone, as well as containing powerful horror elements. Simply on the surface, Malignant opens almost beat for beat as other films which take themselves very seriously do, like Demonic, The Night House, and The Girl Who Got Away, specifically. While each of these films are decent on their own, that simply isn't what Malignant turns out to be by the last act. It begins the same way, but ends in a completely other universe. As painfully bad as that first hour is, Wan continues to culminate the insanity with every second that goes by, and soon the tone and subject matter catches up with the levels of over-the-top melodramatics. Malignant feels like the culmination of all of Wan's horror work to date. There are all kinds of Saw-like revelations that are supposed to make your head look like a continuous mushroom cloud. There are nods to Frankenstein, Psycho, Basket Case, De Palma's Sisters, and Dressed to Kill, and scores of other horror classics. The look of the killer is definitely one of the more unique and literally twisted visages I've experienced with a cinematic slasher. It's even got Zoe Bell with a wicked ugly mullet. Malignant is not to be taken seriously, and I think that's the best way to watch this film. If you take the drama at face value, you're in for a rough ride. But if you simply enjoy the hammy, schlocky, and downright trashy tone of it all, I guarantee you're going to have as great a time with it as I did. I know this is a divisive one. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of Malignant. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Gravetrancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're